shall continue today with the Darkling Thrush of Thomas Hardy. We have already finished the first two stanzas, and now we shall proceed to the next two stanzas. Alright? So, in the first two stanzas, what we saw was the dull observations escalate the despairing mindset of the poet, and he sees a world without promise or a hope. Now, it is at that moment, just like the adage goes, like a silver lining in the clouds, in the dark clouds, you have a full-throated song of a thrush breaking out out of his silence. Okay, we shall see that now. At once a voice arose among the bleak twigs overhead in a full-hearted evensong of joy illimited. An aged thrush, frail, gaunt, and small, in blast-beruffled plume, had chosen thus to fling his soul upon the growing gloom. So little cause for carolings of such ecstatic sound was written on terrestrial things, afar or nigh around, that I could not think there trembled through his happy good night air some blessed hope whereof he knew and I was unaware. Alright, in this bleak scene, as the poet stands observing the bleak scene of this wintry evening, right? Suddenly, like a silver lining in the dark clouds, a joyful song breaks out. A song breaks out into the poet's despairing outlook from among the frost of twigs overhead. Alright? From among this frost-filled twigs overhead, he hears a song, a full-blasted song, at once. At once means suddenly. At once means suddenly. Suddenly, he hears a voice. A voice here means a song. Arose among the bleak twigs. Bleak, dull, dark. See, everything covered with the frost, and we are told it looked ghost-like grey, and from among the twigs, the small, we have seen the bindweeds notching the sky. From among these twigs overhead, above, in a full-hearted evensong, in a full-hearted, it was a flinging its soul out. In a full-throated song, and he wants it an even song. An even song is an evening song. Alright? An evening song. Alright? An evening sun. Why? Worshipping God. Alright? An even song is one of the prayers. The prayers that are sung in the evening to God. Pray to God. So, the poet calls the thrush song as a prayer. It sounded like an evening prayer song. Alright. Of joy illimited. Illimited is an uncommon word for unlimited. Unlimited or boundless. Boundless. Alright? Illimited means unlimited or boundless. The song of the word expressed boundless joy. The poet calls the thrush's melody a full-hearted even song, a prayer sung at the end of a day in the evening. Right? So that's one of the Christian practices. The song was coming out of a illimited joy, boundless joy. Alright? Look at that word that is used, illimited, which is a very uncommon. Alright? Now, let's look at the next line. An aged thrush, frail, gone, and small, in blast beruffled plume, had chosen thus to fling his soul upon the growing gloom. Now, who was it that was singing this song? It was not a fabulous word, it was not a fabulous bird, but it was an aged thrush. Aged means old. An old thrush is an English songbird. Right? Okay. It's a frail. That means very feeble, weak. Gaunt means lean and thin. Lean and small in size. Right? It was not a fantastic bird, it was an old thrush that was looking very frail, that was very lean and small in size. Blast beruffled. Blast means wind. Beruffled means scruffled. Alright? Scruffled or disordered. Scruffled or disordered by the wind. What was the look at the condition of the bird. It was an old bird and it was looking very feeble or very weak or frail. It was lean and it was small in size and its feathers were totally disordered by the blast, that is the wind. And this is the bird who is singing. Plume means feathers. Plume is feathers. Its feathers were disordered and that was the work of the wind or the blast. So it was an old, so the poet notices or observes the source of this singing. It was an old thrush, feeble and lean and small, with its feathers all disarranged or disordered by the wind. Blast reruffled. Plume, feathers. It's a feathers were or looking very disorderly. Okay, and as such, you shall notice in the appearance of the thrush doesn't arouse any hope. It's the picture of an old thrush that is fighting for survival through the winter. So therefore, the appearance of the thrush does not arouse any hope. But in spite of this, the fact is the thrush sings. And how does he sing? He had chosen thus to fling his soul upon the growing bloom. The bird puts his soul into its voice and bursts out a happy tune. And to whom is he addressing? To the eternal listener. That's God. To whom is it addressed? To the eternal listener. Who is the eternal listener? That is God. Look at that. The song was called Evensong, a prayer. And this prayer of hope or the prayer of gratitude is addressed towards the eternal listener or to God. Because this is an evensong, therefore it's a prayer and the prayer is addressed to God. See, there's one thing to be noticed here. We had, the poet has given it the title, The Darkling Thrush. Though the title suggested that it's about a thrush. See, it took 2.5 stanzas to get to the first mention of the thrush or the bird. It's only after about 2.5 stanzas is gone by, you will find the mention of the word thrashing. That is something to be noticed. But still, the thrush and his song seem to overcome the initial melancholy that the atmosphere brought to the readers. Okay? See, in the initially at the start of the poem, what we notice, the atmosphere is very melancholic, very desolate, very gloomy and bleak. But the thrush, the appearance of the coming of the thrush, even though it is after about the half of the poem is over, it seemed to overcome the initial melancholy that the atmosphere brought even to the readers. Okay. So that is to be noticed. Then we go to the next stanza. So little cause for carolings of such ecstatic sound was written on the terrestrial things afar or nigh around. So now the poet's observation regarding this. No one knows what inspires the thrush singing. And the thrush singing, he calls it the carolings. What are carolings? It has a reference to the Christmas carols. Christmas carols. What are Christmas carols? These are songs sung during Christmas. That is at the birth of Jesus. Alright? When we celebrate the birth of Jesus on 25th December, and near about the eve, during the eve of Christmas and so on, we go around singing Christmas carols. So it's a happy song. A carol is a happy song. And what gives this happiness, or what makes this thrush sing this happy note? That's what the poet is wondering. The ecstatic sound is in complete contrast to such a hopeless situation that was described in the first two stanzas. The first two stanzas, as I told you in the beginning, describes the winter evening. A very desolate, very bleak and gloomy winter evening where everybody seeks their household fires except for the poet, who is a loner standing at the leaning against the Popeye's gate. Alright. The poet cannot think of an earthly event or cause, near or far, that would be responsible for this happiness or the carolings of the thrush bird. Look at that. So he says there is little cause. He does not know of little means there is hardly any cause. Cause means reason. He cannot think of any reason for such a rejoicing as he finds it in the thrush bird. Of such ecstatic means joyful. Because carols are a joyful song sung at Christmas, at the birth of Christ. And poet says, I cannot find any reason, any cause, any earthly cause was written on terrestrial things. Terrestrial means earthly. On the earth. He cannot think of any reason on the earth for such a rejoicing. Afar or near. Afar, far away, in the remote past, or in the distance, or far away. That could be that you could think of. Afar means far away. Far away. In the distant past, or in the distance. Or nigh. Nigh means near. Near about. Near around means near about. So he cannot think of any reason for such rejoicing as the bird sings such happy tune, such happy note, such happy melody. Alright. Then he says that I could think there trembled through his happy good night air some blessed hope, whereof he knew and I was unaware. So what does the poet goes on to say? He says he cannot think of any cause or a event near or far that would be responsible for the joy of this or the joyful song of this thrush. The thrush's song is it's an enigma, a puzzle. It's an enigma or a puzzle. And the poet marvels, he wonders at the blessed hope or knowledge the bird has. Alright? So the poet thinks the bird has known some hope for the future, or some hope to come. Or he has some knowledge of something good to happen in the future. But the poet himself is unaware of it. Blessed hope. Hope is looking forward in anticipation of something positive happening. Now what does this mean? There are no direct answers. The poet says, I am unaware, he is unaware, and I was unaware. The poet was unaware of any such reason for rejoicing. And yet, he believes the thrush is singing so joyfully, and it may have some hope or some knowledge that the poet does not have. There are no straight answers to this. There are no straight answers to this. Just possible interpretations only we can look at. Does the thrush sing a song of farewell, a hymn of gratitude for good things that has been? So it could be a song of farewell, a song of gratitude for all good things that has happened through the day or through the century. Or does he sing of a hope which is a reassurance of good things that are to come? Hope is you are reassuring yourself everything is going to be alright. Everything is going to be alright. So the thrush is singing out of some such a reassurance of good things that are to come in the near future. So, like the poet, we can only wonder and keep our hearts open and just be glad that there is a reason to be happy at all when we come to the end of this poem. Alright? Okay. Now let me explain. So initially the poem was very melancholy, gloomy and sad, but then toward the end it ends in a hope, reassurance of good things to happen in the near future. Okay. Now let me tell you that this hope here is personified. Look at that capital H that is used here, H. So this hope could symbolize a number of things. First of all, this hope is an even song, because the thrush is singing out of hope. It's an even song. So a service or an evening prayer. You can consider this hope standing for an evening prayer to God, a prayer of gratitude. Then this hope also is referred to as carolings. What are carolings? Carolings, I said, are joyful songs or joyful hymns sung during Christmas. That is when we celebrate the birth of Jesus. So it could stand for, and that's the coming of Christ was the fulfillment of a hope for mankind. Okay. Then, hope is one of the three virtues of a Christian faith. Alright? In Christian religion, there are three virtues. One is faith, another is hope, and the third one is charity or love. Alright? Faith, hope, and charity. These are the Christian virtues. Faith, hope, and charity. So these are one of the three virtues. Hope is one of the three virtues. And finally, since it is personified, since hope is personified, I would say it stands for Jesus Christ. Hope being personified, it stands for Jesus Christ. Because a reference to carolings, that is songs sung at the Christmas time, and happiness, and then the hope. And I said that was the fulfillment of the promise that God had promised to send a Savior to save mankind. And in fulfillment of time, Jesus Christ was sent as the Messiah or the Savior to redeem the sinful world, sinful mankind from the sins. Through His birth and His death on the cross and the resurrection, He saved mankind. So it is also a fulfillment of the hope. So it refers to hope. Fourthly, refers to Jesus Christ. So what are the four references I said? First is, it's an evening song or a prayer of gratitude. And secondly, it's a caroling, because it refers to Christmas carols, like hope. The singing is a hopeful, and that is a Christmas carols. And thirdly, it refers to one of the three Christian virtues: faith, hope, and charity. And fourthly, since it is personified, it's a direct reference to Jesus Christ, who came to save the world. He is also known as the Savior of mankind. Okay. Now that we have finished the poem, now let us look at it once again. Now, the poet Thomas Hardy saw the traditional agricultural society decay at the end of 19th century, and the earth being destroyed by the industrialization. And the Darkling Thrush clearly reveals that he can believe in a note of hope. Alright? It is because Thomas Hardy clearly says in the last line, look at the last line, and I was unaware. He is unaware of a hope for the future. The industrialization had totally transformed the world. And if there is any hope, ultimately you have to turn to religion. The customs and traditions of the rural England was totally destroyed, or it had decayed as a result of the industrialization. And he finds hardly any hope or a promise for the future. Okay? Alright. So with that, we have finished our Darkling Thrush.